Hi everyone, we're back with another episode, and as you can see, we have a special treat for you tonight. I invited some of my students to join me in answering a couple of the questions that we've received. So let's dive right into the questions. Larry writes in and asks, I heard several times, but I'm unable to verify that most students who are going to drop off will do so in the first year. So is that the case? That's the question that we're trying to answer. And one of the reasons I asked these guys to join me, they've been with me a long time. You've been in martial arts now how long?
6 years.
And you've been in it 6 years? Yeah, 6 years, 5 years. We have a guy behind the camera who's playing with his hair right now and making me laugh a little bit, but he's been in it for how long?
Almost 8 years.
Almost 8 years, there it is. And then we have a guy who's not with us tonight that's a part of this group. He might be on vacation, I'm not sure, but he's been in it 8 or 9 years. He's been in it maybe a year longer than you. And so this is a very dedicated group. This is a group that a lot of students look up to in the school. A lot of younger students aspire to be these guys someday. And so what's your experience? What do you guys think? Students, if they stick with it for the first year, they're committed, they're going to stick with it. I think that there's certainly, I mean, if you're going to make it a year, you certainly have shown a level of commitment that, yeah, perhaps the percentage is in your favor that you're going to continue on. But I don't know. We have students that have been in it 2 years and then they stop. We have students that have been in it 3 years and then they stop. We have students that have been in it for many, many years. So to answer the question, I guess my answer is I don't know. I haven't heard that. What I do know is many people in the industry cite that 6% attrition is a healthy attrition. You want to try to shoot for 6% or under in terms of how many students you're losing in a month, and you're going to lose students. So my recommendation in trying to make sure you have a healthy school is this. Track the numbers, okay? And there's different sets of numbers that you need to track. How many leads are you generating each month? I don't want to smack you in the face. How many people are you actually getting to contact you, email, call, whatever the case may be, they're interested in setting up an introductory lesson? Track that. Okay? Track how many people now, when they come in for that intro lesson, how many people are you actually getting to enroll in your classes? That's another number you want to keep track of, and I'll explain why. And then lastly, track that attrition rate. You have them enrolled, they're coming to classes, how long or how many students are you losing? What's your monthly attrition rate? And then try to keep track of as well, how long are different students staying enrolled? And these numbers are going to give you a different indicator of where you need to start working on building your strengths. We've talked about the different components that go into building a successful martial arts school. There's the marketing side of it. If you're not generating leads, that's your indicator right there. You need to work on your marketing. If you're generating the leads, but you're not getting the signups that you want, you need to work on your salesmanship. If you're getting people to sign up, but they're just not sticking with it, you're going to have to work on your teaching ability and your customer service skills. So track the numbers, try to minimize any loss as much as possible by developing your skills. Okay, so the next question, this is really what I wanted you guys to participate in because I think it'll be interesting to see what they say. So we're talking about losing students, and the question is, what does it do to you psychologically when a student quits? Do you feel a personal rejection? And also, do you have differing thoughts whether the student is an adult or a child? So let's start with what does it do when a student quits? And I'm going to sit back for a second. I want to see what you guys say. And I don't want any specific instances cited. I don't want any names. But what do you think? Is it a rejection when a student quits?
It depends on their behavior during class.
And it depends on how close you are to them.
Yeah.
So you think it depends on the person?
Yeah.
Depending on the student, I'm going to react differently. I would say that's the case. But now what do you think adult versus child is the question? I don't think that matters. And I want to point something out. Yes, there are times when people have quit, and I think it hurts. I think sometimes it's not just me, but you guys feel something, don't you? And somebody that you've been training with and have been working hard, moving through the ranks, or maybe you're not even the same belt, but there is that community there, that bond that you're working together, even if you're not moving up to the same belt together, and you feel something, right? There have been instances where you're bummed or you can't believe it or it comes as a shock. So I don't think it really actually, I don't think it's age. I also have to say that, yes, if they've been more dedicated, yeah, sometimes it can hurt more. And it does, you feel something when it happens. But I don't think there's this rejection where there's sort of an outward hostility towards the person leaving. And this probably isn't something you can answer, but what I would say is sometimes if there is a stronger negative feeling, it's more a sense of, okay, what could I have done different? And sometimes I think that's faulty thinking. Sometimes people are just ready to leave. Maybe you've taken them as far as you can take them, or maybe they've gotten as much out of the training as they're going to get out of the training, and now they're going in a different direction in their life. But sometimes I question, I think, am I communicating clearly enough that people are making the progress that they're making, that they understand where they're headed, especially with you guys? Because once you're at this level, when you're starting to reach black belt level, the progress is, the measurement in terms of your progress, it's minor things that you're working on polishing off and sharpening up. In fact, if you look into research on different people that achieve mastery in their field, you may have heard the 10,000 hour rule having been cited, and there's different research that goes into that, where they see that these different masters in their profession, when they've put in that much time, what differentiates them is very small. And so that's the same thing you experience in your growth when you become a higher belt. And so when higher belts leave, sometimes I do think, okay, did I effectively communicate the benefits they were getting? Did I fail some way in doing my job to keep them interested in understanding where they were headed and what they were getting out of their training? But it's never a feeling of anger towards the person. You've seen many people come back into the school, right, through the years. I mean, is anybody recent? I don't want names, but has it happened recently? Actually, yeah, a couple of people recently just came back that have been gone for close to a year within the last couple of weeks. And so that's something I try to convey as well, is I want people to feel that they're welcome back. Let me just check, see if we answered all the, that's one thought I wanted to, when we're talking about the difference between adult and child, there was a student, and again, I don't want to give out personal information or share names, but there was a student, you guys remember, a beginner, so focused, loved hot dogs. He got me, and he only got to yellow belt. He was only in it a couple months, right? But you guys remember him fondly. So it's also the bond that's there in the community isn't necessarily contingent on how long you've been there. Certainly when you've been there longer, it can be a little more disappointing when students leave. But it happens, and different people leave for different reasons. And my overall advice here, just to wrap things up, would be, in the beginning, like I said, track your numbers and make sure that if there are issues, if your attrition is surprisingly high, you're just losing most of your students every month, there's something that you have to do. If that's not the case, yes. Do you feel something when students leave? Absolutely. But if you're doing your job, if you're keeping track of sort of the health of your business in all those areas, and you're doing the best you can, sometimes people just leave because it's time for them to leave. I think that would be my closing thought. And try to create an atmosphere where your students know that they're always welcome back. All right, that'll be it for this one. I'm glad you guys joined me. Hopefully we'll have you come and join me again for a discussion. Keep the questions coming, and send me an email, post a comment below, and then maybe next time, this is why I hesitated, maybe next time I'll let you guys actually take a little more time to answer the questions in detail and see what you come up with some of these questions from what you've seen in the 6+ years we have for most of you here. All right, that'll be it for this one. Take care.